This is James Holder for IFL TV. I'm in Wembley Stadium today for the press conference of Carl Froch v George Groves 2. With me I've got George's trainer Paddy Fitzpatrick. How are we doing, Paddy?
How's life, man? You good?
I'm good, I'm very good. Thank you for asking, sir. And you?
Good, cool.
Good. What did you make of the press conference today and the actual atmosphere of everything?
Atmosphere of what you'd expect. Press conference was what it was. It was no different to any other one. Nothing left to say really. It's all been done. Any questions that are asked we'll gladly answer, but there's nothing left to say.
Do you think Carl and George are getting sick of the sight of each other? They just want to put the gloves on now and get stuck in?
I can only talk of what I see, and George has never had a problem with Carl. So I can be asked this question 1,000 times, going to get the same answer. He's never had a problem with Carl. He's just somebody that he's facing. Carl has a problem with George. He has done a little bit better at holding his composure together in the build up to it, but that's not relevant when the actual fight breaks out. So he's got to keep his composure till the last round is over, or he will not be able to do that.
It's funny you should say that. Yesterday on Twitter some pictures surfaced of some tweets a couple of years back from George to Carl Froch and vice versa. So they haven't always been bad blood between the pair of them, have they?
No. Carl took it as disrespect when George gave him his opinion of what he would do in the first fight. He's never been able to let it go.
Do you think the sparring with Kessler as well might have antagonised him a little bit?
Well, he said that Andre Durrell, when he came over with only a week or 10 days before he fought him, that it was being disrespectful. And he said about George going over fighting Kessler was, I don't know what it was, but it was a huge big deal. So it is what it is, man.
George underlined his plan for the fight today, which again he did this the first press conference. I thought it was quite interesting. But today, notably, he's saying the left hand is going to be key to that, and he doesn't think Carl has a defence or an answer to that.
Well, Carl has carried both hands low his whole career, but if he does have any hand up around his chin, the only one which it is the right hand. You can't protect both sides of your face with one hand. So Rob has said that the only thing they need to do is avoid George's right hand and avoid a quick start. So, very simple camp they've had. So while he's busy with his right hand completely over the other side of his face defending against the right hand, how is he going to defend the left hook?
With the weigh-in tomorrow, obviously both men have tempers could flare, they're getting close to their weight. So they're going to be looking to refuel tomorrow. That all adds to it.
They're not getting close to their weight. Carl's been on weight for quite a while now.
I was going to come to this. Now, just leading you into that, Paddy.
Well, he's been on his weight kind of like De La Hoya before Pacquiao for quite a while, so he doesn't have to worry about making weight, and George has got 4 pounds left to do, so I'm sure 2 of that will be done in his sleep, and he'll have a little shake and bake tomorrow. He'll be cool.
Thank you for letting me know that. The other day I asked you that, you wasn't quite ready to let that information
go.
Man,
I didn't know.
That's an honest answer. That's an honest answer. Do you think Carl Froch has run the risk of overtraining? We saw him about 3 or 4 weeks ago looking in fantastic shape and really ready for fight night. Do you think he runs the risk of overtraining? I
believe he has overtrained. I made 2 bets with George in January when we were in America, and one of the bets was that Carl would see a psychologist, and the other bet was that he would overtrain. So George has already paid off in the first bet, so I got my quid. And the other thing was that he would overtrain, and the reason I believe he will overtrain is because he is well aware that that was his, like he said, his worst performance ever. So that was the hardest fight that he'd ever been involved in. He'll have gone back into camp, and if all he's been told is you've got to stop the right hand and an early start, even if that's what his coach has told him, he knows that ain't true. He knows that if it was only the right hand and that quick start, what happened throughout the whole fight? There was too many things that went wrong in that fight. So he will have gone away and just thought to himself, no, I need to do more. That's not enough, I need to do more. So he will do what he feels he is already good at, which is train physically hard. So he has no choice but to overtrain.
The first time, I remember, as you entered the ring in the first fight, standing there taking in the atmosphere, it's something that stays with me. I saw you kind of just smelling the vibe, if that would be the right word, the right terminology. Having had that experience and been there first time around, obviously now it's going to be a lot bigger, but does that stand you in good stead to know kind of what to expect?
Well, I've worked with fighters in front of crowds of 55,000 before and 20,000 before, so when you hear 50,000 people scream, you hear 80,000 people scream. So it's the same. It's an atmosphere that every coach, regardless of what hall you're in, or if it's a small hall or a big venue, that you need to be able to keep your composure as well as a fighter, because you've got a minute in between rounds to give them some direction.
Do you guys switch off from the magnitude of the event and just kind of living in the moment with it?
I think you have to. Based on what I just said, you can't become a fan of what it is that you're involved in. You can enjoy it after it's done. But if you become a fan of it while you're involved in it, then you're viewing it with a fan's mindset. And I can't afford to do that. I wouldn't be able to serve George correctly.
What I liked today in the press conference is when you was asked to speak, you didn't grab the limelight. You spoke very precise, probably a couple of paragraphs, if that, and then you just let the fighters do the talking. But that was very good, Paddy, I really did.
Alright, thank you.
No, I did. It's a compliment.
Thank you.
Don't mean it in a shy, retiring way.
No, that's okay. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Alright, well listen, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Thank you for answering a few more of my questions today.
You got it.
I do appreciate it. And we look forward to catching you tomorrow at the weigh-in.
Alright, brother, peace.
Thank you, Paddy.
Thank you. You got it.
Betway sponsors Froch vs Groves 2 on Sky Sports. Betway sponsors Froch vs Groves 2 on Sky Sports.